Hello everybody, welcome back to Popped In, your home for all things pop culture, and today we're going to be diving into the newest addition to the Star Wars universe, and quite honestly, the one I've been waiting for the most, that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this past week we got parts 1 and 2 of the series. The first 2 episodes dropped to us on Disney Plus, and yeah, I'm super stoked to be talking about it. So yeah, without further ado, let's go and dive in. But before we do that, of course, as always, if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, lets me know you guys are enjoying the content. And if you subscribe, you can stay up to date on all my latest content, which I'm going to be doing further reviews for the rest of this series. So yeah, I'm just combining the first 2 episodes since they came out at the same time. I feel like it would be easier to do that instead of doing 2 whole separate videos, especially with how closely these 2 go together. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive on in. So starting with the series, it begins with this nice, cool recap of the prequel trilogy, which, I mean, it's not really that important because if you're watching this, I'm sure you've seen the prequels, but it's nice to see, and it gives it sort of a epic kind of feel, starting it up, giving you a recap and seeing all these characters and stuff. But really where it starts is with a flashback to Order 66, which, first off, it's awesome to see some practical effects clone troopers, because in everything else, really, except for the Disney era, like the flashbacks in this Book of Boba Fett, no, not Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian Season 2, everything else with the clones has been all CGI or animated, so getting to see them in live action is really awesome, and also, we get to see them in the trailer for Andor as well, so more clones is always fine by me. But yeah, we get an Order 66 flashback, which we see this one Jedi, she's taking the younglings to safety. She gets killed in the process, and the younglings are all like, oh, what are we going to do? And one of them says, we run, and they run off as we hear Palpatine saying, execute Order 66, which I've seen a lot of people saying. I feel the same way. There's one of the younglings who looks a lot like she could be a young Reva, or the third sister, and I do feel like that is going to come into play. If not, they fooled us. But it could come back into, people had theories about that is why Reva hates Obi-Wan so much. It's because Obi-Wan was at the Jedi Temple, but he and Yoda, they didn't rescue the rest of the younglings that were trapped there. So, could be it. Could also just be fans thinking way too much about this. But moving on, we jump to the present day. The Inquisitors come to Tatooine. We get the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels back. We get the 5th brother from Rebels back. And then we get the new Inquisitor, the third sister, or Reva, which kind of interesting that she is called by her name sometimes, but she's also called the third sister. And none of the other Inquisitors are ever called their names, except, I guess, Trilla in Fallen Order, but whatever. I guess to give her more character. But yeah, the Inquisitors, it's really cool to see them, especially the Grand Inquisitor. I mean, I know there's the whole debate on how he's going to look. He looked pretty solid to me. The portrayal of him, very good. Same with the 5th brother and the third sister. Some of the stuff seems a little over the top, but all in all, she's a pretty intimidating character. A lot more ferocious than I thought she'd be. I thought she was going to be the one they're going to try and humanize, but she seems a lot more fierce and reckless than the other 2 Inquisitors. So pretty cool to see as well. But then from there is when we get introduced to Obi-Wan. He's living his life as, just a meat factory worker or something. I don't know. But it's just cool to see. You get to see in his face and stuff. And that's one of the biggest things of this series so far, is seeing Ewan McGregor, his acting, his emotions. And you can tell he kind of, or not Ewan McGregor, but Obi-Wan, he kind of feels bad for not doing as much as he could. We see it later with Nari, the Jedi that comes to him. Obi-Wan, well, I was going to say he wants to help, but I don't know if he really does. That's probably the thing that hurts him too, is he knows as a Jedi he needs to help, but he doesn't want to because he could jeopardize himself and Luke's safety. And it's just a change to the character, which is something we get to see develop over the first episode as Obi-Wan. We get to see Princess Leia again, which is awesome. Seeing a young Leia, getting to see Belle and Brea Organa again on Alderaan is really awesome to see. You got a C-3PO, R2-D2 cameos as well. That whole thing on Alderaan is just awesome to see. But Leia gets kidnapped by bounty hunters who Reva has hired to try and draw Obi-Wan out of hiding. She's bent on getting Obi-Wan. The other Inquisitor's like, hey, he's kind of big game. We need to stick to these other Jedi. And Reva's like, no, I want to get Obi-Wan. So she goes against the Grand Inquisitor's orders and hires these bounty hunters to kidnap Leia to try and draw Obi-Wan out because, I'm not really sure why that would draw Obi-Wan out, because if it was, in hindsight, it kind of does seem a little weird, because why, if they knew that Bell was friends with Obi-Wan, then wouldn't they kind of be onto Bell at the same time and trying to arrest him or execute him or something? But obviously not, because he's still around by the time of Rogue One. But anyways, plot holes aside, the Inquisitors, or Reva more particularly, she gets the bounty hunters to take Leia to this planet called Daiyu. They destroy her little droid named Lola, I believe. And Obi-Wan, he gets contacted by Bell and Brea. They ask him to go get Leia, and he says, no, get someone else. I'm done. I'm here looking after Luke. And Bell tells him Leia's just as important as Luke. And Obi-Wan says, no, find someone else. So then in that time, Obi-Wan goes to, I don't know if it's Mos Eisley or Anchorhead or wherever it is. He runs into Owen. He had bought from this Jawa, which the comedy in the show, it's kept on the low. It's not like overtaking the show, but it's done very well. But there's a funny moment with Obi-Wan and a Jawa, who the Jawas keep stealing his stuff, but then sell it back to him when he needs it. But she also has the toy for Skyhopper, which is, I think, the same toy that we see in A New Hope that Luke has. Obi-Wan buys it for him, but Owen comes to him and throws it back to him and says, we don't want anything from you, stay away from us. Then the Inquisitors come, try and find out where the Jedi is, and we get a moment with Owen, which is pretty cool to see his character. He hates Obi-Wan, he doesn't like him, but he's not going to give away that he's there. But that one Jedi, Nari, he comes to Obi-Wan, tries to get help. Obi-Wan turns him down and tells him to bury his lightsaber and forget about who he is. Apparently that doesn't happen, because Nari is found strung up, dead in the city by Obi-Wan, and that, I guess, is what pushes him whenever Bell comes to visit him and talks him into going to rescue Leia. So Obi-Wan unburies his lightsaber, he digs it up, his and Anakin's, and then he takes them and he leaves Tatooine to go to Daiyu, and that's where the first episode ends. Then in the second episode, Obi-Wan goes to Daiyu. We get a cameo from Ewan McGregor's daughter, which is interesting. She's the one that says she was somebody's daughter, the one who gives Obi-Wan the spice that eventually comes into play. We get a very nice, kind of heartbreaking cameo from Tamora Morrison as a retired clone trooper. He's a homeless veteran now who's collecting money, and it's a nice moment to see Obi-Wan, even though he knows what the clones have done, especially the 501st. They're the ones that killed all the Padawans and stuff. But Obi-Wan sees him, and he still gives him some credits, because, after all, the clones were some of the best friends that the Jedi had during the war, especially Obi-Wan. He was one of the few that really connected very well with his troopers. But, yeah, from there, Obi-Wan goes. He gets cornered by these bounty hunters, but he's able to trap them, drop the spice, knock them out, and he escapes and finds Leia. She doesn't really trust him at first, but he convinces her that he's a friend of her father's. They go on the run, but Reva, finding out that he has escaped, she puts out an all-points bulletin, basically, for all bounty hunters to know that he's a high-priority target. So all the bounty hunters on Daiyu are going after him. The Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother, they show up. They're mad because they want Reva to stay out of this. So the Grand Inquisitor tells her to back down. He'll take care of it and deal with her later. So Reva chases after Obi-Wan. Obviously, she listens very well. But she defies the Grand Inquisitor and chases Obi-Wan as he engages in blaster fights. So apparently it's not as uncivilized as he once thought, or that's just the kind of life he leads now. But anyways, Obi-Wan fights these bounty hunters, but Leia saw his face on the wanted poster, thinks he's a bad guy now, so she runs away from him. And Obi-Wan has to eventually use the Force whenever she almost falls to her death. He catches her and sets her down. And I almost completely forgot this Kumail Nanjiani's character. What's his name? Whatever the case. The con artist who is pretending to be a Jedi, he is in Daiyu, and he's tricking people to try and get money, but he's like pretending he's a Jedi so he can get them to pay him and stuff. But Obi-Wan finds out that he's just using magnets and stuff, so he is able to convince him to lead him to Leia. But then after they get tracked by the bounty hunters, then Kumail Nanjiani's character comes and offers to help Obi-Wan escape by, holding off Reva. So then from there, Obi-Wan and Leia, they are able to get to a ship where they're directed to escape, but Reva chases after them. The Grand Inquisitor comes after her and is basically telling her, I'll take care of this. This is not your business anymore. So Reva just straight up stabs him in the stomach and leaves him down on the ground and says she's in control now or whatever. And she informs Obi-Wan that Anakin is still alive. He already knew he was Darth Vader. She informs him that Darth Vader is still alive and calls him by name. Says Anakin is still alive. Obi-Wan, obviously he's shocked that his best friend and pretty much his brother, who tried to kill him after almost killing his wife, after that, he's obviously shocked that Anakin is still around, but he's able to nearly escape with Leia. So they're flying away, and Leia is asking Obi-Wan what's wrong, because Obi-Wan is just in shock, and he just says Anakin. And then all of a sudden we cut to, in the back of the tank, Darth Vader. His eyes open up. We can hear the breathing kick in as it zooms out. And that is where part 2 ends. So it's a really, really solid opening to the show. The biggest thing I hate is that we're just a third of the way through already with just 2 episodes. But, I love getting, a shorter story. It feels more cinematic, like a movie. It's not stretched out with filler episodes and stuff. We're already past Dayu. So really like how it's moving at a fast pace, and I'm just excited for the next episode to see where we go from here. But yeah, I'm really excited. I hope that we get to actually see Darth Vader in the next episode. I mean, of course we saw him in episode 2, but see him in the suit in action, it's going to be really fun to see. Now, I really have no problems. Of course, there's some of the stuff, the chase scene when the bounty hunters are chasing Leia. The one person is running like a maniac. I don't know why they're running that way. But then they run into a tree branch, the idiot couldn't see that it was there or something. It kind of felt over the top, Leia's outsmarting these dudes and she's 10 years old and stuff, but what are you going to do? They still caught her at the end of the day. It's all right. But besides that, it was all pretty good. Reva, yeah, a little over the top, but still, I like the character, like the actress. They do a pretty good job, I feel. And yeah, everything else is spot on. The one thing I do want to talk about is the Grand Inquisitor, which I don't know where these people are getting their ideas, but a lot of people seem to think that Obi-Wan Kenobi completely decanonized Rebels. The Grand Inquisitor is dead. People have brought out Darth Maul's been cut in half. Anakin had all his limbs chopped off. Many people have had other limbs chopped off. I think the Grand Inquisitor could survive being stabbed to the stomach. And pawns have 2 stomachs in canon, so yeah, there's no reason to think that the Grand Inquisitor is dead. I think it's just a lot of people blowing things out of proportion, especially they're not going to decanonize Rebels when it's structurally, I couldn't say the word, the center of the Mandoverse. And just today, at the time I'm recording this, at Star Celebration, we got the Ahsoka teaser, which confirmed that the Rebels characters are all coming back. It's building off the story, so yeah, it's there's no reason to be worried about Rebels being decanonized or whatever. It's still here, still around, and I just think the Grand Inquisitor just got hurt. So yeah, I hope we see him back, because I don't want him to be gone, because I really like the portrayal of him in this show. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these first 2 episodes. It really solid. I really love seeing everything that we got in it, but more than anything, seeing Ewan McGregor and eventually down the line Hayden Christensen back as Anakin is going to be the biggest draw for this show for me. And seeing all the promotional stuff building up to it, it's felt cinematic in a way that I wish this was a movie that we could go see in the theaters, but I'll take Disney Plus any day of the week. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Stay up to date on all my latest content. Like I said, whenever the other episodes come out of this show, we're going to have reviews out for all of them, other videos about different things in Star Wars, other stuff in pop culture. We're going to have a fun time on this channel. So I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Goodbye.